OMAD Caroline here. Just want to jump on. First of all, I want to say thank you for sending me some good vibes and prayers about my toothache. It is very mild and so doable. Got until tomorrow. I'm also doing great on my first 72-hour fast, so that's going good. But that is not why I jumped on totally. I jumped on because um, a comment was said to me that kind of enlightened me at my last coffee and breakfast with my mom and my sisters. And this is kind of how it went down, all right? We were talking about intermittent fasting and the benefits of it, and one of my sisters actually was worried about looking haggard. And my mom goes, "Well, Caroline's not looking haggard." And my sister's like, "Well, that's because she's young." And I looked at my sister and I'm like, "I'm 48. I'm going to be 50, but thank you, you know." So I kind of didn't think about that. And then yesterday, it came up into my mind and I was like, it's so funny how, like, for the past few years, I've got some older siblings. Like, my oldest sister is like, I think it's a 10-year difference. And then they all kind of count down, a year apart. For the next few years. So, I come from a family of seven. So I have been told that several times by a couple of my sisters, like when I was in my 20s, like, "Oh, it's easy for you because you're in your 20s." And when I was in my 30s, "Oh, you'll understand how hard it is. You're only in your 30s." And then now, apparently, getting close to 50, it's still easy for me. But what I was thinking about is how that comment wasn't meant to hurt me or be negative. It actually was an excuse in disguise. So, a lot of times I find that we will kind of, not purposely, but we kind of will diminish other people's journeys and label them in a way that causes us comfort to quit. And that started making me think about how often I label people and diminish their journeys for my disguised excuses. So, for example, last night I actually apologized to my husband for doing just that. And I love that guy. So, like, I felt so bad for how often I labeled him and diminished him a man, and how it's so easy for a man to lose weight. And even though I may have been putting in work and working out and watching what I was eating, my husband, around when my daughter's wedding was, he lost a bunch of weight. We were both working on losing weight, and he got right down. Like, he did great, but he was so disciplined. Like, he was running, he was watching what he was eating, and come to find out, he was walking at his lunchtime at work every day. So I know I was putting in work, but my journey has nothing to do with his journey. My journey is not impacted by somebody else's journey. It isn't. And when we start comparing journeys, we're just setting ourselves up for failure because we're just creating disguised excuses for ourselves. So I apologize for my husband for diminishing his journey. I pretty much said, "Yeah, you're dropping the weight so fast because you're a man, you know?" And I diminished all of the hard work he was putting in to get there. Yeah, I was working hard, but what does that have anything to do with his journey and how hard he was working? It had nothing to do with it. It was strictly a label and a reason in disguise for me to have an excuse on why I wasn't getting results and why I wasn't losing weight as fast. Oh, no, it had nothing to do with me eating a poor diet for years and years and years and jacking up my hormones and creating insulin resistance. Oh, God, no. Had nothing to do with that. It's just had to do with he's a man and it's easy for him. right? So felt really bad about that. And I also, like, in the video with my son, even my son like made a comment like, yeah, mom, it's good you're doing this because you see a lot of these awesome results from intermittent fasting. They're all buff 20-year-olds. And even that comment is labeling somebody being 20 as it being easy and kind of diminishing the work they're putting into their journey to get where they're at, you know? And to bring this more home, all right, I have a new subscriber and I subscribe to Dedicated Fitness. Love this guy. Really young man, awesome, positive, but he's like, it's up to you. He's hardcore and I love him. Well, I went back and watched his original video and listened to the story on how he struggled with obesity. No, when I first saw his video, my assumption is this kid has been fit and healthy all of his life and good for him, you know? And probably in the back of my mind, my assumption is, oh, he's a man, he's young, easy peasy. But no, we don't know everybody's story. This guy is amazing. He worked through really hard times, really was authentic. Watch his first video, and then he's out there encouraging and putting the time and putting the work in to keep his journey on track, but he's also helping other people. So, yeah, our labels and assumptions, just creating excuses for ourselves, right? So, I also think we have to be really careful on labeling ourselves because just like labeling others, I think labeling ourselves is giving us a built-in excuse also. So, like, for example, if I just totally label myself, I am an artist, and say I get arthritis and I can't hold a paintbrush or I can't handle my wood router, what happens to me? That's my identity? Am I not um, able to do anything else since I labeled me in this box as an artist, right? So I started thinking about labels and how, like, we may think labels empower us, but do they really? So, like, a lot of times people would say, oh, I'm an introvert, so I can't go out. And sometimes I feel like that is just a kind of a disguised excuse to not get out of your comfort zone, Not that, I know introverts are introverts, it's just an example. Or a lot of times people will say, "Oh, I'm not an athlete," so I can't. I'm not an athlete, So that's kind of a non-label, but it's still a label. You're not an athlete, so you don't attempt to try something that, who knows, maybe you're gifted at and good at. So I feel like we need to be very cautious on how we're labeling ourselves, because I think a lot of times labeling ourselves is limiting ourselves. We should be trying new things and pushing ourselves to be better every single day. And I think when we label ourselves, we put ourselves in a box that limits us. So I think that our identity should come from our core values. So I think that, we should have good ethics. We should be always giving our best at all we do. But I think when we label ourselves and put ourselves in boxes, it kind of gives us a built-in excuse not to get out of that box and out of the comfort zone. So I'm going to try not to label myself either. I find myself doing that often, well, I can't lift that, I'm a woman, or yeah, I don't play basketball because I'm only 5'3". Who knows? Maybe I'm a gifted basketball player and I just didn't do it because I labeled myself as a short lady, I don't know. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? But anyways, I just wanted to come on here and share that with you. I want to apologize to the men out there, to the young people out there that may have diminished, maybe not outwardly with words, but in my mind, diminished your hard work and your journey. Keep getting it. I apologize. I'm going to try to change my frame of mind. I'm also going to apologize myself for putting limitations on me. We are so capable of doing so much more. And I think we need to just keep getting out of our comfort zone. All right, that's it for me. I will talk to you later. I got to get out and walk.